Welcome along to Apex Racing League, where apparently OBS Game Capture does not like to play games. We are here for Australia Round 6. It is another sprint race here inside Apex Racing League. I'm your typical host, Leopold, not joined by anyone for the time being. We've got 18 minutes of qualifying to set down the mark around this Australian Grand Prix circuit where really anything can happen. The walls are close in parts, like where Gary's going through now, but they can be so far away. But no matter what, the limits, wherever you think they are, they're always an inch closer. So we'll see how everyone tackles this track today. A few people have driven this track previously for Apex Race for URC, I believe 2 weeks ago, as Ben has hit Sinyo. And Sinyo's got the damage. Okay. I wonder what has happened there. Sinyo, to be fair, what do we really expect Sinyo to have done on that run? No, Sinyo's the GOAT. Sinyo's going to win everything. But Gary's going to take us through the first lap of this Australian Grand Prix circuit. Get the power down on the exit of the final corner, open the DRS, and then turn on the overtake button. As you head down towards turn 1, it's a heavy braking zone. As you flick your car through turn 1, try and keep it within the limits, and Gary has managed to bottle that supremely. He's continuing on though, down towards turn 3, hard on the brakes. Flick the car into the hairpin, hook up the apex nicely before you have to bring it back over for turn 4. On the exit, careful you don't bottom out and spin off that curb through turn 5, straighten the car up. And then it's on the brakes just for a moment as you go into turn 6 and 7, down to 5th gear, and now bring it tight to the right, all the way down. The sweeping curve straights, DRS open halfway down. As you set yourself up for the turns 9 and 10 chicane, flick it left through the first part, flick it right through the second part. Straighten up, use the rest of your battery and the DRS as you get down into the braking zone for turn 11. Flick it right through there, and then it's nicely keep on the throttle, maybe a small confidence lift there for Yari, and then get on the brakes into the final corner, flick the car through the first apex, try and open up the second apex nicely. It's a little bit wobbly on that rear end for the McLaren driver as the tyres start to give up at the end of the lap. But the first time on the board won't actually go on the board. It's a 16.5 from him. MH only a 16.9, and look at that. LOI Notjack's going to be the first actual benchmark, 16.1 for him. As ST goes P2, Vinny does a 27.4, decides to take it easy on that first run. 16.3 for Quiet Boy, 16.4 for Joker. Jordan Lancer slots in just ahead of his Haas teammate in P5, Bluefoot. Getting in between those into P6 for the Red Bull outfit. Just remember, Bluefoot could disconnect from this lobby at any time today. His internet is absolute wank. Johnsy Boy crosses the line. Only P8 for him as Billy Whizzed on the track crosses the line. It's only P7, 16.8 for him. Remember, these laps aren't going to be the most representative, but they'll certainly give you a good idea. Andrew is out there on a lap. He's invalidated. Yari is almost certainly on an in-lap. So let's pay attention a bit then to Andy, the A-Team. A driver who maybe not the best driver. And I think a lot of people can admit he's not the fastest. You know, he's not the most consistent. But he perseveres every week, week in, week out as MH, you absolute donkey. See if we can catch that. Yep. Okay, so MH is out of qualifying. He has hit the wall on the pit entry. And I'm sure Yari has already said unlucky MH, as Andy is on a pretty decent lap right now. It's been very tidy from him for what we saw. But that pit entry bites, and we're going to have some words from MH here in a second, I think. Yeah, don't really know what I was doing. A lot of unluckies, and you know what, MH, You are right, lad. P1 for the sprint. Obviously, reverse grid systems, Andy the A-Team goes P10. Slowest of the created times. But still something. Andrew, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, I would love to know, is Andrew doing that F1 esports equipment check style thing? Or is that on Inter? He's got to be careful he doesn't set this lap, or he might lose his current P1 for the sprint. Because those intermediates are faster than missing the front left tyre, I can tell you that. Actually, no, I'm wrong. As Andrew bins out the final corner, MH did actually set a lap. I don't know if he'll be P1 for the sprint because we have this man who has just drifted through the penultimate corner onto the main straight. What can Sinyo do to open his session off? It's an 18.6. Sinyo, welcome back to irrelevancy. Welcome back to absolute terrible lap. A class act about to take pole for the sprint because MH thinks he's going to get P1 for the sprint. He has not seen Sinyo yet. Sean Moist might finally be trying to get a lap in. I don't think MH's P1 for the sprint is even like remotely possible at the moment. Because we have Sinyo behind him. And Sean Moist has done like 4 or 5 laps now. And he's not made it past sector 1 without invalidating. You see, this is the issue sometimes when you don't quite know how everyone performs. And if MH is watching along right now, remember, you too can be like P3 in the sprint because someone couldn't set a lap and someone is a lot slower than you. But Rich 10 to go now in this session. Improvements at the top are yet to be seen. With LOI not yet currently not out of the pits. Quiet Boy is in P2 and then the rest of that top 7 is on outlaps. MH is obviously out of the session for good. Pit wall is a pit wall. And that's what he found out. It does not like an F1 car's tyre. A Scooby-Doo may have invalidated there. Ben Wawa goes P6. Good effort from him. Genuinely not too bad. Scooby-Doo would have invalidated his lap or he'd have something on the table. As Yari did a 46 in Sector 1. And Vinny has invalidated his time. Right behind that McLaren of ST probably. It has to pull into the pits and that's him done. Jordan Lancer, Sector 2, 3/10 up there or thereabouts now. So what can he do for the rest of this session? Needs to find the time and the commitment in the car to get himself closer to that 1:15 mark where we expect pole position to be sat today, as I appear to have received a DM. Brian Manuli, who's typically here for commentary, can't connect to the internet, but he sent me a message, so we'll see. John Lancer, top of the board, 16-0 for him. Not a bad effort as John... No! Scooby-Doo again! I swear, if Joker is less than a 10th up, or if he's down at the end of this lap, it's on Scooby-Doo. He's down! Scooby-Doo! Completely fucks his teammate once again. Remember a few rounds ago, I believe it was in Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. You know what, let me look at the calendar and I can actually probably guess. If it was Jeddah, and Jeddah's on the calendar, then I'm incredible. Oh no, it was Austria. It was Austria where he held up his teammate as ST goes to the top of the board with a nice little lap there. No problems with that, but LOI not Jack. You know, if anyone wants to watch the stream and get an eye on how Not Jack decides to drive a lap off this circuit, I will give it to them. I am going to be on board with Not Jack this whole lap unless someone retires from the session on the track. Flick it left through 4. McLaren getting very nicely out of the way. Unless that McLaren just did an Oscar Piastri. Really, JFT goes to P4 for the time being with a 16.2. But Not Jack's already over a 10th up. Not Jack, I'm scared. Don't go too deep into the 15s. You'll be fired. He's 2.5 tenths up right now on his PB, which puts him about a 10th up on ST's time, which is the time he needs to beat. And he's only going to find more in this final sector, especially as you get more into the session. The track starts to rubber in a bit better, and everything is generally more betterness. Through the final sector he comes, around the final corner. Not Jack, DRS open, rest of his battery, goes to the line, and that is a 15.7. And we all saw that lap. Just amazing pace out and out from this guy. Yari's just apparently done a 16.5. A 16.5? Did he invalidate? Or am I just seeing the wrong person? You know what, we are going to check. He did a 16.5 and those look like legit sectors. Man is on a mission right now. Andrew set a slow lap, might have invalidated. Vinny is still needing to find a lap to get himself off of P16 right now. MH retired early in the session and is still P10, by the way. He is still P10 after retiring after the first run. And obviously we've still got Vinny, Andrew and Yari to put down representative laps, but likes of Scooby-Doo, Agent Sinyo have already put down their representative lap times. Vinny crosses the line, demotes MH to P11 with a 16.8 from himself, slots himself nicely into that P8, 9 and 10 battle right now. But someone who's probably immensely safe is LOI Not Jack. Yari spams L2, 16.3 from him. The man from Belgium who bitches about everything is currently in P7 with a lap time that would have been close to provisional pole at the start of the session. He's just not been able to actually set a valid lap. As Andrew has pulled into the pitch yet again. Is he abusing the sprint format? I couldn't tell you. 25.6 is his best time on the board. For the time being, Sean Moist is still out there doing running. About to start his next competitive effort. And really, this might be his final effort of the section. Unless he decides to box at the end of this one. Because there's not enough time now for him to finish the lap, pit, come back out, and set a lap. The Joker and Scooby-Doo, the two Mercs, first out of the box to set their final runs as everyone starts to stampede out of the pit lane. But very slowly. ST, Jordan Lancer and Andy, the A-team, has joined them. For the time being, the second Red Bull will hit the track, and that'll be It's Bluefoot. For now, as I have been pinged somewhere, which likely means it is important. It is not Sean Moist, P14 for him, 72, and likely the end of his session. the Joker, like the real one, is 2 tenths up in his first sector. So this could be a good effort from Joker if he has the rest of the lap together. 3.5 up as he crosses that middle sector timing line. That would put him just ahead of Ree and JFT for now. But there is still one more sector to go. Still one more chunk of time to gain. For the driver who has been fucked over by his teammate more times than I can count. Because I can't count very much higher than 1. He's going to round this final corner now. Might get a little bit of a toe off that Haas ahead of him. It won't be anything too extraordinary. It won't get him pole, but it'll put him P4 for now. And only P4. Not Jack is going to need some menacing challenges at this stage, though. P1 by just over 2 tenths. And ST, the first person to step up to the mantle. And if that is anything to go by, we might have a battle for pole here. ST nearly 3 tenths up in that first sector alone. From his 16-0, that would easily send him to the top of the timing sheets, crossing the middle timing line. He has lost a little bit of time in that middle sector. It's not gonna put him behind Not Jack just yet, but he's gonna need more. The final sector, critical for this man. Not Jack will find the time. We know it. I did just double check that he didn't invalidate immediately. But final sector, hitting hard for ST, straightens up. And he is going to go all the way to the line. Is it going to be provisional pole? No. He can't quite hit provisional pole. Jordan Lancer can't do anything. Does Ree and JFT have anything in his back pocket? One of the next people who can maybe challenge Jordan Lancer. Sector 1's not going to be good enough. Bluefoot, is he finding any time as this session comes to a close? No, doesn't improve his position, barely improves his time. Quiet Boy is the next to the line as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. I'm double checking that's not Jack, it's a blue car. Cross the line for Quiet Boy. P6 puts himself just ahead of the It's Bluefoot. LOI Not Jack is the next person we really care about crossing the line, unless that's Ree and JFT coming to it, which it's not. Billy Wiz has finished his session at this stage. What's Not Jack got left in the tank? That's another 2 tenths. Nearly 3. Ree and JFT, what do you have, good sir? Big snaps off the final corner. This was his most recent league race. He crossed the line. P5 only. Bluefoot is not on a competitive effort right now. Vinny is a couple tenths up, and his Ferrari teammate is looking to dethrone MH from that P12 spot. Maybe find a little bit higher. Rian forgot to change tyres. Crossed the line. John Z Boy can only dethrone MH. Andy not on a competitive effort. Vinny comes to the line, and it's P7 for him with a 16-2. Good effort. Quite nicely competitive. Rian C11 forgot to change his tyres before that happened. So Yari now will be the next to the line. ST out there giving him a toe. It's a 16-0. P5 for Yari, just barely ahead of the Joker. Stinho is still out there driving. But realistically, he's not on a competitive effort. He will be on pole for the sprint, will Stinho. But pole for the main race will be a familiar sight. LOI Not Jack with that 1:15.5 takes pole for the main race from ST and Andrew as your top 3. John Lancer P4 with Yari and Joker in close tow behind him. Ree and JFT for P7 and Quiet Boy and Vinny and Bluefoot all very close in terms of times. Then we've got a little get back to Ben through Johnsy Boy, all quite close. MH, we don't know where he would have ended up because MH did everything. By the way, Yari only got that position over Joker because he had a toe from ST. But little battles seem to have formed all the way up and down the field. I will be back momentarily for the main race, but you will see something for the sprint race, sorry, but you'll see something very interesting in just a couple minutes. the desktop audio, which I did, so enjoy. The fact you just heard me menuing for the last couple of minutes. We have got the sprint race here, and there's an accidental formation lap, which is beautiful. We get to check out the tyres that everyone has chosen. A vast sum of mediums, but 6 people deciding to choose the hard compound tyre for the sprint race. The Andy, the A-Team, Johnsy Boy, the Joker like the real one, Andrew 30 Opt, ST, and Phase Washed. Phased Monkey coming back in after being unavailable to join qualifying, coming in for the race, which has moved Ben Wah to Alpine. Unfortunately, Ben isn't like that. He doesn't cry like a baby. But everyone getting some temperature into those medium and hard tyres for themselves as we get ready for what promises to be a brilliant little sprint race here in Australia. LOI Not Jack, can he make a charge to the front of the field? Can anyone from P12 and lower make a charge to take down the Agent Singular? We're missing Mr. Big Dick, or as we see him, Scooby-Doo, just left after qualifying again and didn't come back. Everyone's going to do the last little bits of weaving. Everyone's going to get themselves lined up in their grid positions. Yari Spams L2 can't park a car, but we're going to get ready now for what promises to be a very exciting sprint. Look at the angle on the Aston Martin in P2 of Short Moist. We'll be here for 5 lights in Australia. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good start. Pacinio comes across immediately on his teammate. MH gets a decent getaway as well into turn 1. Sean Moist and Agent Sinio side by side. Sean Moist on the outside takes the lead from his teammate. We've got Billy Wiz on the grass in the background. Bluefoot dropping a couple of places, trying to find his way forward. Joker has been spun out a little bit here on lap 1. MH looking up the inside of Sinio. Can't find a way through just yet. Both the Kicksabbers look to be forced a little bit wide in turn 4 as LOI Not Jack picks up a 10-second time penalty right from the get-go as we fling our way through the left-right chicane of turns 9 and 10. As Joker, in the worst spot of anyone, wing damage for him. MH has cleared Sinio already, but that second gap has already been formed. Sinio and Johnsy Boy make contact. Johnsy Boy out of the race, and there's damage to Sinio's car. Johnsy Boy 18th and last as Sinio very slow through the high speed turns 9 and 10. Missing half his front wing. Billy Wiz, it's going to go 4 wide maybe. Down into turn 11. Everyone trying to scrap it out for position. Andrew and Billy Wiz, the winners of that fight. But it's still going on behind. 3 wide with ST, John Lancer and Quiet Boy. And Quiet Boy sneaks his way up the inside. Can Quiet Boy get past Yari as well? He's trying to look. Is he going to go around the outside of the final corner? Commitment huge from that man. And he takes the position from the McLaren driver. Sinio pulls into the pits with wing damage to his car. Rian JFT now taking a look on Andrew. Can't find a way through into turn 1, but look at the exit he gets. That medium tyre working better on the Kicksauber car. Down towards turn 3 now. Can he dive? Late on the brakes to the inside. Gets his car there. Little bit of argy-bargy between the two of them. Nothing serious though. And Rian just has to live to fight another day right now on the back of Andrew, who's up in P9. Remember, points scored for the top 8 in the sprint. So we're going to have to see what goes on there. Rian JFT looking to do something as Yari's had a little wobble and a little spin. He is down to P15 now. Quiet Boy making a position up on his teammate as Rian has easily cleared Andrew. That DRS giving him every little advantage that he needs. As we look out in front, Sean Moy still leading here on lap 2. And LOI Not Jack, the biggest winner of those back starting runners, up into P8. Look now, P10 for Quiet Boy in his eyes, but Andrew is not going to be the easiest person to overtake, but a big snap in the middle of that final corner could open up the opportunity here for the boy who is Quiet. Down the main straight, saving the battery for now as they head into turn 1, but a brilliant line from the Williams driver. Can he do anything on the exit? The battery just doesn't seem to be there for him right now. Can't do anything about it as the lead has swapped hands. Sean Moist losing out to MH1463 in P2. Johnsy Boy has commented on that lap 1 incident saying he has no words. Further back, Yari has just come out of the pits for a new medium tyre. Unsurprisingly so. Struggles for Yari Spams L2 as everything falls apart here through the left-right chicanes of turn 9 and 10. Everyone concertinaed up here, and Andy the A-Team has cleared Sean Moist. Can he clear MH? Doesn't decide to just yet. LOI Not Jack, though, is going to clear Bluefoot up the inside into P5. And look at Vinny trying to make the move stick on Blue as well. To the inside of that next corner. Immediately makes the move as Billy Wiz forced a little bit onto the grass by the Red Bull. Trying to make a way through, and that kicks out, but trying to forge forward and bring Kick into a bit more of a competitive position as Andrews rounded out. He's hit the barrier on the exit of that final corner, and that is Andrews' sprint race coming to a close as Andy the A-Team has taken the lead, but MH is going to want to fight that back. He does not want to be out of that P1 position with no rear gunners to really assist him. But there's a little bit of argy-bargy bits of contact. They're going to go wheel-to-wheel through turn 5. And somehow they both survive. But Sean Moist is now wheel-to-wheel with Ben. And that's contact. Barrier found for the Aston Martin. And massive wing damage too on that car. It's going to have to slowly fall away now. But look out ahead. MH has cleared the A-Team. Here comes Not Jack on Ben. Not Jack gets the position over his reserving teammate. And Bluefoot follows them through. But Not Jack now has Andy in sight. And Andy is gone. Andy has lost the battle here. And LOI Not Jack now into P2 on what is only lap 4 of this sprint race. He has had a brilliant run through the field. And I'm sure there's only more to find now. Because that grip in that car seems to only be building. But a big snap on the exit. And that could cost him. Andy the A-Team looking towards turn 1 now. To the outside, no. Closed quite heavily. Will not make the move into that first corner of the racetrack. But down to turn 3. LOI Not Jack maybe just a little bit too far back to do anything. Rian JFT isn't on the outside of Ben. Little bit of contact yet again. Just a bit of wheel tapping. And Rian pushing Ben all the way off. And that's position gone for the Alpine. Rian up to P5 in the Kick Sauber. As look at that. The Belgian Waffle himself. Fastest lap of the race. And sure, he may be on a slightly newer medium than these guys. But that is still impressive for the guy who hasn't really shown any form yet. Through goes Billy Wiz again on Ben. As FaZe Monkey gets past Vinny. And Vinny's in the wall twice. Vinny having some contact, I think, with ST. Both of them missing their entire front wings. And that is tragedy. And remember now, Not Jack, 10-second time penalty on the board for him. Corner cut on lap 1. Costing him the position as Ben loses places. Down to P10 for the time being. Bluefoot and Rian wheel to wheel through that final corner. DRS should be active for the both of them. And Blue's going to have to try and tuck into that slipstream and make a move stick. But into turn 1, he is not going to find that on the back of the Kick Sauber, who goes deep into turn 1. And maybe opportunities now presenting themselves, but Blue just not having that power output on the exit. Unable to do anything about Rian up ahead of him. As MH has been broken out of DRS from LOI Not Jack. But that 10-second penalty looming and looming large. Forget the gap right now. That 10-second penalty putting Not Jack down to P10. So we'll see how this develops through the race. Vinny, ST, and Vinny, Sinyo, Sean Moist, Yari, and Joker all having to make pit stops in this race for wing damage. ST retired with wing damage. Andrew and Johnsy Boy retired. Johnsy Boy due to contact with another car. And Andrew binned it out of the final corner as FaZe Monkey's trying to show now the power of that hard tyre in a shorter race like this as it comes towards its crescendo. through a final corner. Andy the A-Team needs to start finding a way through now. Those hards looking better on every car that keeps them. And really, that's just Andy and FaZe Monkey into turn 1. Here goes Andy up the inside of MH. Ben Wawa gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. And he has decided to pull into the pits at this juncture. It's 3-1. This contact. MH is out. Andy missing his whole front wing. MH out of the race. And who else was involved in that? Was that Rian JFT? And what has gone on there? Contact. Big incident. Andy's hit the wall. And by God, has that changed the state of this race? MH, for fuck's sake, in the chat from him. Rian, bruv. What has gone on there? This has only served to help LOI Not Jack, who's currently going to be just behind Billy Wiz. But look at the gaps that have opened up. Here comes Jordan Lancer now. Bit of wing damage on that Haas car, not seeming to affect his performance on the outside of Quiet Boys Williams. And he's going to make that move stick beautifully. LOI Not Jack now officially ahead of Billy Wiz, who, well, that's why it was so easy. Billy Wiz with no front wing. Andy H, what the actual fuck is his comment? And I don't blame him. Contact going immense. Rian, pick a line and stick to it. Are we opening the door then closing it? So a lot of anger there. Bluefoot has picked up a 3-second time penalty, I would believe. Disappointing. But look at this. Yari is in the points now because he stayed in this race after everything has gone mental. Andy is stuck to his line and didn't move off it. MH was all the way to the left. I wonder what really happened there, because it seems like a lot, but I'm sure I will be seeing a good few clips later today of the chaos. Jake is going to be loving life in a minute. Here comes Quiet Boy to the inside of Jordan Lancer. Takes the position from the Haas driver, but can Jordan come back? He may have wing damage, he may not have DRS, but he is going to save the battery. Call it quits for now. There's still 2 more laps left in this race, and a few people didn't seem to understand that, because there were massive accidents as Rian JFT has retired from the race with 2 to go here. Unsurprisingly so. I mean, difficult situation for him, considering he might have been missing most, if not the entirety of his front wing. After being sent into a wall, I think he's just chatting with Andy and MH about what happened in their incident. Those are the latest 3 retirements from this sprint race. But with 3 to go, FaZe Monkey missing a lot of his front wing. That's kind of cost him and his hard tyre strategy. Joker and Yari both had to pit earlier on in the race due to damage. Ben Wawa had to pit because of damage, as did everyone who is currently over 20 seconds behind the leader. Billy Wiz is persevering here and staying out, missing his front wing. Yeah, he's got a 3-second time penalty, but he stayed out without a front wing. Quiet Boy and Jordan Lancer with 3 wide, with 2 were side by side. My brain isn't functioning through that chicane, and somehow survival for them. With that, Jordan Lancer just comes out ahead. We will be starting the final lap. Quiet Boy and Lancer cannot afford to battle too much. Not Jack is 9 seconds ahead of Quiet Boy, 8.5 ahead of Lancer as we start this final lap of proceedings here in Australia. The leader with a 10-second penalty from starting practically last in this race. A lot of carnage helping him through the field, and then he got to the front and he hasn't looked back really since. As soon as that contact between MH, Andy and Rian happened, all competition for the position was lost. But now, through turns 6 and 7 we go. Everything looking pretty nice. There was a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm going to assume that was Yari Spams L2. But these guys now Quiet Boy to the inside of Jordan Lancer. He gets the position and critically doesn't lose too much time doing so. Jordan Lancer picks up a 3-second time penalty because of that, and Quiet Boy gaining on the straight to LOI Not Jack, who is going to cross the line now to be a winner once again, at least on track here inside of Apex Racing League. He has dominated proceedings here in Australia. As soon as he reached the front, on track, it'll be P2 for the It's Bluefoot, who needed that. And P3 turns to P1 for Quiet Boy. LOI Not Jack, 36 thousandths of a second. The thing that cost him the win. Jordan Lancer gets P3 after his time penalty. Bluefoot gets P4. FaZe Monkey down to P5. It is 6th for the Joker. 7th for Billy Wiz, who came home with that wing damage to do incredibly. It's going to be P9 for Ben Wah 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 Wah. But that's going to be dropped by Sean Moist and WSAC7 Vinny, who both had lesser penalties than himself. And last to the line is going to be Agent Sinulol. It'll be P12 for him, and he's just vibing out there. But that was the sprint race in Apex Racing League. We will be back shortly for the main race, and we might have a clip for you in the meantime.
Catching the car ahead, well done, but be aware these tyres need to get us to the end of this race. That move was illegal, I'm afraid, mate. Return the position, give it back. Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
And that's just a quick look at the incident that did involve Ree and JFT. And Ree and JFT, MH and ST, as there is a formation lap on here. I think these guys need to just kind of take themselves out of the formation lap. I don't know if they all understand this. Sinyo clearly doesn't. A few people spinning out and disqualifying themselves. The formation lap ain't even meant to be on, but yep, I am just like that, I guess. Few people should be getting out of this sprint race right now, of this main race, as we watch people try and form a semblance of some incidents on a formation lap. They need to go 2 by 2. There is 2 each that they can take out. Contact there, doing beautifully. Jordan Lancer and FaZe Monkey, they need to do something here. They all need to get damage or hit each other. They can't get damage on a formation lap, and now it's down to 3. Jordan Lancer driving backwards, a surefire way to get yourself disqualified. Sean Moist needs to learn to turn around right now. Let's see if he gets the message to do a U-turn and drive backwards. Otherwise, he's going to be the only one who actually finishes a formation lap. He's actually driving the formation lap, this guy. We need to get going. We were late starting because we forgot about this. Williams have apparently won all 3 ARL sprint races in this season as well. An interesting stat that Fran Bernoulli has just put out for us. I think Sean Moist, a bit late, has finally got the memo that he needs to turn around and drive his car backwards on the track. And he's just failing miserably at doing so. He is wasting people's time. He's just reset to track. So, we will be back shortly. I think I'll let you guys watch this because it will be chaotic very shortly, don't worry. And we are back to live. Getting ready for the sprint race. But for the main race, my brain is already gone. Just so you know. Here around the Australian Grand Prix circuit, it is an absolute flurry of hards down the field. We've got more hards on this field than we had mediums in the sprint. By the way, as Andrew and Jordan Lancer have made contact, and that's their formation lap over. Jordan Lancer won't be too happy. Andrew probably not too bad, considering he's on a medium. But here's how it's going. So, we've got LOI Not Jack and ST on the hards. Mediums for Andrew, Joker, Quiet Boy, Johnsy Boy, and FaZe Monkey. The rest of the grid on that on that hard compound tyre. Who's got it right, who's got it wrong, you'll never know, but it's typically a one-stop strategy. Here at the Australian Grand Prix circuit, we might see a sprinkling of two stops here and there. It can be worth it if you time it well enough. You're looking at the medium runners to be the ones likely to switch over to a two-stop strategy. Talking around lap 8 and lap 16 for pit stops if you're trying two stops, and then for the medium one stop you realistically need to go to at least lap 9, ideally lap 11 or 12 before switching onto your hard compound of tyre. For the hard, you're looking between lap 16 and 19 for your pit stop before you'll see someone show up for a medium stint, but we're getting ready to go here in Apex Racing League. It'll be going green once again. 5 lights at Australia, and it's lights out. Away we go. ST AI has an absolute craptastic start, falling down the field quickly. Into turn 1, Not Jack got it easy into the lead. Yari dropping a couple of places and massively off on the grass. Billy Wiz is out in turn 2, and that's a virtual safety car already, helping mitigate some of Yari's pain. A little bit of damage up ahead, as Billy Wiz has also got a 10-second time penalty for contact into the back of Yari. LOI Not Jack maintains his lead. Andrew, though, is close behind from Jordan Lancer. Quiet Boy got up to P4. ST gets a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flag. That's his AI. We might be able to get that removed. Rian JFT in P5 from Joker, who's maintained his position. Blue in 7th from Johnsy Boy, Ben, and MH. We've got wing damage somewhere on this field as we go green once again, and Jordan Lancer picked a very good restart there. Yari also fighting it out on this restart with Sean Moist. Gets to keep his position. Cuts that corner a bit though with that hesitation. Now he will surely just lose that position straight back to the Aston Martin. Unless he's got the balls of steel. Dives in deep. There's a bit of contact. Vinny is sideways and nearly around. And drops himself down to 15th. ST gets past his teammate. And FaZe Monkey is going to try to do the same thing against the McLaren driver on the outside of the final corner with wing damage. Can he do it? Yes, he can. But the slipstream with a bit of overtake mode might help Yari here down towards the first corner of the track. But everything seems fine. Yari has already picked up his 3 warnings for the first penalty. This race is going about as well as you would expect for the Belgian Waffle. Not having a good time of it, as everyone seems to be running wide in turn 4. Remember, we just had a sprint race. The cars were a lot lighter for the entirety of that race than they will ever be on lap 1 of a Grand Prix. Jordan Lancer currently sat in P4, trying to chase down Quiet Boy and Andrew, but nothing really going for them right now. Andrew, though, right on the back of LOI Not Jack. And if anyone can dethrone this man, it'll have to be someone with a medium compound tyre on, but that's a rear lock from Andrew that's not going to help him in his chase down of the race leader. A bit wide for the VCARB driver, but still crucially within that window for DRS off on the back of LOI Not Jack. Remember, Andrew crashing out of the sprint race with a mistake. Quiet Boy, though, holds the fastest lap of the race until Joker shows up with a 19.8, fastest of anyone. But we can only expect that pace to go faster as Bluefoot is past Ben and... Whew. Here comes... Here, yeah, my brain's not functioning right now. Vinny is on the back of the Belgian Waffle. And that is something to look forward to. Yeah, the two Belgians fighting it out. Position swapped there, I think, for ST and Johnsy Boy, who might have made a mistake. And Johnsy Boy dropping places hard here on lap 3, down to P12, losing out to Sean Moist and ST, just within a couple of corners. ST, though, isn't done yet. Take a look at MH. Can't quite make a move stick on the Haas driver, just going to have to wait for maybe another lap to pick up the scraps here in Australia. Through the final corner, he'll come. And a big snap, and he's round. That's the front wing gone from the McLaren. McLaren's last hope. And the full front wing gone. And is that the safety car? Hello, friend. Been a minute. Safety car has been deployed, and that'll neutralise this race. And that'll neutralise, hopefully, my brain, which is fried. I am currently in one stage of thought, and it is not functioning stage of thought. Not Jack is a peanut merchant is the same thing we have heard all week long. But lap 3 here might be an option for some of these early runners to think about a switch of tyres. The issue is, the likes of Andrew, Quiet Boy and Joker are too high up now to really just say, yeah, a pit stop is worth it off their tyre. I don't think the delta they'd have is worth it unless they can commit to a 2-stop and make it work. The 2-stop from here for these guys on mediums would have to work as a double hard in a way, and I just don't think any of this top 6 is going to want to convert to that. Andrew stays out. Andrew comes in. Quiet Boy follows. And Joker, I think rightly so, stays out. Because you look at the likes of Andrew and Quiet Boy, they're going to drop pretty much to the back of this pack. The only other person I would expect in is ST. Sean Moist, Johnsy Boy also follows in on that medium tyre to see what he can do. FaZe Monkey, Agent Sinulol also coming in. So where, crucially, is this depositing Andrew? Andrew has been put out in P11, Quiet Boy P12. And this is what I was saying about it. It's just going to fall away for these guys a bit too hard for me to say that it is worthwhile. Safety car is out, and while it is out, I am going to take a momentary break to try and loop this brain up of mine because it is currently not functioning. And the safety car is in this lap that we are getting ready to go racing yet again, and Notjack has made the jump already here in Apex Racing League. Through the final corner he comes to start lap 7 here in Australia. That's the name of the track. Into turn 1, Rian JFT is going to look to the inside. Is he going to make that move stick on the Haas of Jordan Lancer? He has, and pretty convincingly, immediately on the restart, getting the jump on his competitor Joker now. Sitting a bit further back, can he do anything? No, Sinyo retires from the session at turn 1, and he is gone. I wonder what happened to him in that turn 1, because he seems to be an awful long way in that gravel track right now. Through the chicane and down now towards turns 9 and 10. Notjack with a 1.4 second lead. He was told he was on watch before this race. I think he's a bit more on watch now, considering he's already pulled a 1.5 seconds on the safety car restart. How much further can he go here to build that gap? Through now towards turn 11, nothing really happening. This commentary is about to be absolute wank, because I can't form a sentence right now. Not properly. I'm really going to go to my dodgy shop after this and go get myself an energy drink, because I completely forgot my typical free-stream routine of highly caffeinating. ST and WTEC 7 Vinny fighting it out, and ST into the pits with more damage. The man who binned it and caused the safety car now has damage again through turn 1. Jonty Boy up into P11, out of the race for ST. He has given up on affairs here in Australia. But now Andrew getting past Yari, fresh hard tyres on Andrew's car, and a big snap for Yari. That McLaren not looking the easiest beast to handle right now, as FaZe Monkey has got past Andy, the lowest driver on old hard tyres at the moment, and it's not going to improve at all through this race. Down towards turns 9 and 10 now, Yari going to be under pressure from the Quiet Kid, who's going to hang it round the outside of the McLaren driver, wheel to wheel. That's a big cut that Quiet had to take, but fear takes over in those situations. Yari not going to find a way back through, and FaZe Monkey can't do anything either. And is that Vinny getting some damage I just saw? Vinny's missing an end plate again. He seems to constantly do so, but Notjack has seemingly just dropped his pace back a little bit. He said, you know what, this race is boring, being out in front on his own, because Jordan Lancer and Rian JFT have caught up to the back of him. And now this top 3 are looking to squabble it out. That's some snaps for Rian. Losing the car just a little bit now as he tries to go towards the front, and Johnsy Boy and Yari fighting it out. FaZe Monkey is going to be another benefactor from this, if he can get past Yari, but Yari kind of bullying FaZe Monkey there. I keep calling washed, I mean, might still be, I mean, that is just, why would you get scared off by the Belgian waffle face? This is why you're washed. You're getting scared by Yari of all people. Down the back straight, Andrew was going to get Ben wah. Blue has gotten the Joker, and nothing has happened yet for Rian JFT and Jordan Lancer, who are trying to go for the leader right now. Quiet Boy has also gotten Ben Cries Like a Baby. And into turn 11 they go. Johnsy Boy and MH going wheel to wheel. Easy as you like for Mr. Johnsy Boy, who is starting to pull out a bit of pace here. Freshest hard tyres of the bunch, including Quiet Boy and Andrews. They're kind of all equal in terms of age. The only person with younger tyres is the WTEC 7 Vinny, who stopped a lap later than everyone, and that's why he is currently P15 and dead. But Joker's now becoming a bit of a stopper in this bottle, as we kind of wait for when he's going to get out of the way of these guys, and we're going to move forward in this. I'm in the wrong call. Oh crap. Yeah, no wonder I was confused about where I was and why I was sat in a call. It's because I'm in the wrong call. Andrew has gotten Joker, and more critically, we've missed Rhea and JFT taking the lead from LOI Not Jack, the man who has pretty much always led in this series, has now dropped to P2. Absolute cinema here surrounding Not Jack as he loses a place. Confirmed here, LOI Not Jack can lose places in this league as Yari is getting absolutely harassed there in P11. He's got a Haas in front of him of MH. He's got FaZe Monkey behind, who's about to take him to the cleaners maybe. Trying to get the run through the final corner. Come on, FaZe Monkey. Send Yari right back to Belgium. Into turn 1 though, Yari, feeling the pressure, gets past the MH1465563, whatever his name is, and will assume points again unless MH is going to do it. He's up the inside, there's contact, Yari a little bit wobbly, and now this is FaZe Monkey's time to shine. He's going to go to the outside, can't find a way through, trying to switch it through the corner. There's no way he tries to go wheel to wheel in there. And I was right, he doesn't. Crab Rave, everyone lives. We go for another lap as Quiet Boy gets Joker. Those 6-lap-old hards are going to be so much better than those 10-lap-old mediums. Andrew gets past Blue in what I don't think is going to be as substantial of a tyre deficit. But this could be a chance now for Rian John Lancer to try and slow down Not Jack a bit and bring Andrew into the fight, bring Joker into the fight, bring Quiet Boy and Blue into the fight. Do you know what? Just bring the field into the fight at this point. Who really cares about who wins this? I want to see all 15 drivers still in this race in a massive trolley train behind Rhea and JFT, who's going to have to do his best now to defend against Not Jack as he leads in that lean green mean machine. But we're here on lap 12 now, so this is around when we'll see the sole medium starter left in this race. The one person who's not pitted off the mediums. I must have been wrong when I said it would have been a bad idea to pit off the mediums as Jordan Lancer, you dirty, filthy boy. 3-second time penalty, Jordan. Thought we were cleaning this up, mate. Here comes Not Jack. This is a move, and it's done. There is no question. That's DRS on that straight for you. You just get the move done. And there is just no penance if you get overtaken on that straight unless the guy has literally pulled a 2026 and deployed the entire reserve of his battery to make the move stick. Not Jack takes back the lead of this race and will continue to fight his way forward. Lap 12 comes to an end, and lap 13 is a new dawn, a new day, and a new life for LOI Not Jack as he finally is back in that lead after Rian stole it from him. Ben Wall in the pits off his hard compounded tyres. So 2-stop strategy almost certainly for the reserve in the Alpine. Here, switching on to a second hard to probably take to lap 20, 21 or 22 and then send it to the end from there. Rian JFT now on the back of LOI Not Jack yet again. When does he turn on the overtake button, if he even can be asked to? Because really, I don't know if you'd want overtake on this street. You might have do it with hot lap. I think he actually turned the battery off before he considered turning the overtake button on. Jordan Lancer, though, is on the back of this and might be telling Rian to just get a little bit of a hurry up. But Jordan Lancer needs to save some battery. My guy, you're on like 20%. 20% battery in a league race. Has to be criminal charges. MH is going to go on Vinny here. To the inside. Contact. Vinny's hit twice. MH is rear-ended and MH takes the position. There's 2 bits of contact between Vinny and MH. Then Sean Moist rear-ends the fuck out of MH. And Vinny can't get the traction down, so MH takes the position. MH, though, I think, nicely given the position back, is Sean Moist. 10-second penalty. He sped into the pit lane, you filthy fucker. And Vinny is going to reassume P11 for the time being. I mean, I don't know why he really cares about that position. He doesn't like score points or anything. Joker's still going on a medium tyre that clearly isn't working. And I don't think he has any damage either, so it is just a tyre that is completely fried at this stage of the race. It's more fried than my brain after 2 hours of Google Sheets between 6 and 8 in the morning after I've not been to bed. True story from today, by the way. But, yeah, Joker's tyres are gone. Box, box, Joker, box, box, into the pits, you must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Get your ass into that pit lane, so you can get yourself on a fresh set of tyres and absolutely send it to the end on a hard. You've took those mediums way too long. Have you not listened to esports when they say that the hards are really good at going long and the mediums are kind of shit? Have you not seen them boxing like lap 8 off mediums in a 27 lap race and doing the rest on a hard? Choir Boy has got an Endrew though. And Endrew is actually going to drop like a fly in a minute if Bluefoot has anything to say about it, because Blue in the Red Bull on the inside of the V-carb, they're going wheel to wheel through the chicane. They're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 5, and that's not ended quite nicely for Bluefoot, has it? Bluefoot's in the wall. But not damage wall, just wall. And then he's going to try and do a Fernando Alonso on Johnsy Boy for the fence, but unfortunately this is not real life and the dirty air does not get that bad. So Johnsy Boy should have the position here over Bluefoot, unless some crazy crap like in the sprint race happens. But no, nothing does. Rian JFT. I mean, keeping that battery in beautiful check here. On the back of Loy Notjack, who will be starting to think about a pit stop at some point. 15 laps already on the tyre. He's been leading most of it, so had to push his tyres all the way to keep his position. So I'll have to see, unless anyone else has been even more crap with their tyres. MH and Vinny going at it again, and Vinny actually loses a place to the A-Team Andy, my goat, who will start to bring himself, hopefully, into a bit more contention. Those tyres, though, not hanging on how he would want to. 15 laps done for MH and Andy, and Vinny's mediums are probably not in a great spot after 10 now. But Rian, closest he's been for a few laps now, into that chicane, but that rear end is... Oh, Rian. Give me a taste of that rear end, man. That was spicy. Through turns 6 and 7, and now Rian JFT on the outside of LOI, Notjack. Position taken for the Kick Sauber driver. Now, if this was esports, you would be like, oh, Rian is boxing this lap. But I know Rian. He's going to go longer. But he seems to have saved his tyres in a much better way, because look at the gap he does have a bit to Notjack now. John Lance are kind of falling away here, and might not even get DRS at this stage. And look at that, Rian continues on, as does Notjack. John Lancer into the pits, and I think this is going to be his stop for the medium to go to the end. His singular pit stop of the event. 1.6 seconds was the gap between him and Rian JFT in the lead. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Who binned it? Oh, Vinny's binning it. Vinny's done an Oscar Papastri. And yeah, that is not a front wing you want to see. Somehow Vinny gets away without a penalty there. And into the pits. He tried... Okay. Vinny retires on the track. And that's a safety car. Just food for thought, as the safety car comes back out, which His teammate? These guys are permanent teammates, aren't they? Interesting. Interesting stuff. Read JFT. Hello, not Jack. Hello, not Jack, man. Into the pits. In comes the quiet boy, and Jonesy boy comes into the pits. Bluefoot will come in. Phase Monkey. It's a no-brainer. Comes in. Yeah! Oh, the Belgian waffle waffles again. Andrew into the pits. John Lancer is staying out. You got to get that car out. You got to get that car ahead of people, though, Andrew. John Lancer, where are you coming out, boy? He's coming up. He's 6. John Lancer from P3 is down to P6 because of Crashgate. And Johnny Boy keeps P4. I can only call this Crashgate of Apex Racing League. At this stage of proceedings, I don't care if I'm wrong. This is really funny because it has just helped Johnsy Boy get fresh tyres into P4. And it's also helped Rian and Notjack. Which, Vinny, why are you helping Rian and Notjack? They're on fresh mediums now. They're going to absolutely mince you. Well, to be fair, it doesn't matter for Vinny. He's out of this race. Off his 10-lap old mediums. But that looked like a, hey, stay out and just retire on track. So a safety car or something gets deployed so I can pit. That's what it looked like to me. The question is, though, are Ferrari strategists good enough to try and think of that? I mean, whoever that is in the chat who says it doesn't really help his teammate, it kind of does. Because Johnsy Boy still needed to pit again. It gains him positions. It gains him a position to Jordan Lancer. Joker was likely going to undercut him as well. Unless Johnsy Boy was pitting like that lap. And Yari's into the pits. I think he thinks he can serve his drive-through. No, he's retiring from the race. But you think, though, this is a free pit stop for Johnsy Boy, who had some of the oldest tyres on the grid at that point, barring the leaders. I can see why you'd say it wouldn't help, though, but it looks like he's trying to, in a way that, you know, he's tried to pull into the pits to retire. He's come out and now a safety car's deployed. So, I mean, even if it doesn't help his teammate, it looks orchestrated. If that makes sense. Between the two Ferrari drivers, considering Vinny was like, yeah, I'm going to pit. And then he comes out and presses that retire button on the track instead. I mean, we could tell Vinny didn't want to stay in this race. He'd just been absolutely shafted many times in this fight. And I'm sure there is about to be a report from him as the safety car will be in and will give us a sprint race to the end. A sprint race to the finish of this event. 13 drivers, we're missing 5 like we did in the sprint. The 5 we've lost are Billy Wiz, who was out immediately. Sinyo, who was out on lap 2. Johnsy Boy has said it was on purpose. That is Crashgate at its finest, people. We have probably lies, but we have someone saying, I'm not in charge of stewarding, I'm just here to say what I see, and I see Ferrari have rigged it, baby. We're going to the end, though. Rian JFT with the restart, and he is going to get ready to launch these cars back into the race. Through the final corner he goes, and we are going back to green here in Australia. It's a good restart for Rian JFT. Quiet Boy is looking there to go for a move in turn 1, but Quiet Boy can't do anything right now. Andrew's going to get past the Joker And Joker just straight off into the grass. Joker is washed at this stage of proceedings. MH gains a couple of places through 1, 2, and 3. Andy the A-Team and Joker losing out to the Haas car. John Lancer in P7 now, dropping a place to FaZe Monkey, who is struggling. You are mates with him. Has he... It's honesty that Ferrari have rigged this race. So let us see what goes on afterwards. Right now, the It's Bluefoot is on the back of the guy that was apparently helped by his teammate. Let's see how much help the teammate actually gave, because Bluefoot is looking menacing in that Red Bull car. A few of these cars have proper camera settings, a few of them have racing camera settings. This is how I stream because I'm too lazy to change them all back to the camera settings I'm meant to. Coming to the end of lap 20 though, Rian Rastafari stays up in front from LOI Not Jack. Quiet Boy solidly sat in P3 on that hard tyre. And the longer the likes of Johnsy Boy and Quiet Boy can hold out on their hards, ahead of Bluefoot and ahead of medium runners, the better it will be for them in the long run. There's a 19.0 set fastest lap by Rian Rastafari into turn 1. Into turn 3 he'll go, as we are still peanut merchants up in this commentary box. Quiet Boy sticking in that DRS range that he desperately needs to avoid threat from behind. I can tell you who's going to be a threat from behind. It's FaZe Monkey. He's on the back of Bluefoot. It's Red Bull in a Williams car that I can only guess has dropped a few wings because he wants to copy his teammate in every way, shape and form. But the question is, can he fling that car nicely through the chicanes and get himself past It's Bluefoot in the Red Bull? Doesn't look like it'll be on this lap for him. It looks like Endra will get past Jordan Lancer up the inside. That is what a one-lap tyre delta does to you, Jordan. Should have pitted, my guy. Should have pitted. Start of lap 22 though. Quiet Boy doesn't have DRS. He decided he doesn't want straight line speed anyway. So into turn 1 he'll go with just no advantage from ahead as Jordan Lancer's pulled into the pits. At this stage of proceedings, he decides to pit and retire. Okay. I was wondering, because he didn't retire for a while. But that's Jordan Lancer's race over. Which now means Andy is in the points, but with penalties. So Ben, please retire. Thank you. LOI Not Jack still chasing down Rian Rastafari. At this point of the proceedings, DRS has been opened, and he will begin to close in on Rian. Turns off the battery early though. He wants to harvest. He wants to be in the absolute best position when he goes for this move, especially considering those hard tyres that will come into their own in the last couple laps and give him a chance. So the story now is that Vinny needed a hit, so Johnsy told him to bin it and retire on track. Interesting. So I think Ferrari gone. John Lancer says his force feedback went. Yep, that's F125 for you people. It has shit force feedback, it has shit everything. Don't worry, LOI Not Jack is a peanut merchant. LOI Not Jack has disconnected. Do I have LOI Not Jack? I don't have LOI Not Jack. Uh-oh. I don't have LOI Not Jack, and LOI Not Jack is disconnected. Oh, this is not ideal. And he is falling down the field, disconnected from the lobby. At this stage of proceedings, which means Rian Rastafari leads by 2 seconds with no competition. after Not Jack disconnects from the session. I don't have Marcel Kiefer, my guy. That is not Marcel Kiefer that I have added on my friends list for Manuli. Man thinks I have a former esports driver on my friends list. I certainly do not. Johnsy Boy and Quiet Boy wheel to wheel through turn 3 and 4. Can Johnsy Boy hang it on the Quiet Kid? And Quiet Boy forced wide into the wall for Quiet Boy, and that's damage. Johnsy Boy may have picked up a 3-second penalty, but Quiet Boy picks up damage, and look at the gaps continuing to form ahead. Rian Rastafari looking a shoe-in for the win here. Considering the gap, here comes Bluefoot past Johnsy Boy. Johnsy Boy with contact! And Johnsy Boy on the fourth and off the podium. Here comes Andrew, who's going to make a move, happy as Larry, up the inside and through on the Johnsy Boy. Not Jack down in 7th right now. It's still recoverable. It's still recoverable. Not Jack's communicating with online services. Get fucking EA servers, please. We need to start a GoFundMe at this stage. Because not E10. Not Jack's connection has put him in the mud. And apparently, if Vinny retired on purpose, this will be investigated, so we will go back to the controversy that sees Johnsy Boy in P5 right now. Vinny retired on purpose, according to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal. Okay, Not Jack has sent me a friend request. There's LOI Not Jack. There is an invite. LOI Not Jack. Might get in before Ben gets past him. FaZe Monkey is up to P3 right now and trying to fight his way for P2. Is rain! It's raining! Right now. Let's get back to Woods. And Joker might be able to capitalize here if he's fast enough. I mean, the rain isn't going to be helping there. With 4 laps to go in this race, we see rain falling over the Australian Grand Prix circuit. And this has changed something. Joker and Quiet Boy into the pits. They must go. A lot of people pulling immediately into the pits. The first sign of rain. Ender into turn 1. That looks deep. That looks slippery. Has he made the wrong call? Have all the people that come into the pits gone for inters maybe? With 4 to go, they've selected the intermediate tyre and have the opportunity to go again. Go for the win. Joker, the leader of the intermediate runners, remember. Joker bottles a lot, but maybe a chance for redemption. How wet is it going to get? Sure, Moist sat in that pit box serving some penalties in the meantime. But yeah, look at the grip that's already done. Rian Rastafari struggling a bit through the corners, and that's not just tyre struggles for him. Andrew on the back of Johnsy Boy, but you need mechanical grip more than anything right now. You need just any grip, really, so downforce might be more important here. Andrew is going to try it around the outside. Early on the brakes, they've got to be careful here. Look at how deep Johnsy Boy is. DRS has been disabled. We are going to wet. Rian Rastafari, in the lead of this race, stays out. FaZe Monkey follows him, staying out. Johnsy Boy into the pits, and Andrew just responding. Not Jack is still P5 right now. I have invited him back to the lobby. Johnsy Boy has... His teammate retires to help him, and he buckles. So Andrew, the only leader now, who's actually gone to that intermediate tyre. And where is Joker going to come out in comparison to Andrew? Andrew was quite close up front. And Joker will be very close to the back of the VCarb driver while the track starts to get wetter and wetter with rain falling in Australia. these leaders have a big decision to make. Joker was further back right now. Joker was further back. Needs to do something well. Quiet Boy in blue, wheel to wheel now. Through turn forward, Quiet Boy, you remember what happened last time you were wheel to wheel in turn 5. He's going to switch back in turn 5. Quiet Boy showing everyone the moves. And look at the rain. It is coming down. It is getting wet out there. Look at Ryan struggling on that medium tyre. Does he think that 2 laps will be enough? Will be enough for them to catch, because that might just change his decision. They're going to be more than within range of Ryan. I think by the time he enters the pit lane, he's staying out. I don't know if this is the right decision. I couldn't tell you right now with 2 to go here in Australia. But the gap is falling to P3 and 4. It is tumbling to like no other. And Andrew and Joker might just get a 1-2 here between them. Because FaZe Monkey and Ryan staying on the hards. Let's switch to the gap to leader right now. 18 seconds for Joker at the exit of turn 1. And the gain is a second, if not more. Ryan's bottled what could have just been a pit stop on Joker's lap. Joker's lap was fine. Look at the tyres, they're not that bad. Yeah, he's losing a bit to Andrew, but he's not losing 2 seconds a corner. Ryan, look at where he is compared to Andrew. The gap is going to continue tumbling. Andrew a little bit wide there, making little mistakes on the transition of conditions. But big mistakes made for the P1 and 2 drivers who've stayed out on worn slick tyres that now that the track is truly wet aren't going to be worth anything. LOI Not Jack is back in the lobby, by the way. We'll see if he can get A team by the end. I think that would be the goal. Ryan JFT now has another decision to make. I mean, that gap has nearly halved in a lap to Joker. I don't think coming in now is worth it. And he will stay out. And I think FaZe Monkey is going to stay out as well. How much more do they have in the tank? Look at the grip on the exit of the final corner for Andrew. Up to P2 in that V-carb onto the final lap. Andrew versus Ryan. One on actual tyres, the other on what might as well be a boat without a steering wheel. At this stage of proceedings, the gap dropping 2 seconds just in the first couple of corners. Let's go on board with Ryan and turn off this track map. Let's get scared really quick when Andrew flies by, because I want to see this. Ryan trying to hold his own. There goes Andrew. It may be one lap of this race, but it's the one lap that truly mattered here in Australia. Ryan, he's trying to come back with the slipstream, but the tyres just won't hang on, and Joker still looking to try and pick up P2, but he has a penalty. It's 3 seconds, and I don't think he's close enough to do anything. But Andrew might not have been at the front any time in this race. He might not have looked like he even had the pace to do something, as Joker has bottled scenes. He might have looked like he would have just been nowhere, as we typically expect. But the strategy call was spot on from the Romanian. He wins in Australia. Ryan has to settle for P2 after a massive bottle. Bluefoot gets the podium in the Red Bull. It's P4 for MH, P5 for Quiet Boy, 6th for Joker, 7th for Ben, 8th for FaZe Monkey, 9th for the A team. It's 10th for the Peanut Merchant, who had a disconnection and could have really succeeded today. And last one on the road is going to be Shaw Moist. 34 seconds off the back right now. Joker said, "Fucking long grass on the pit entry. Grass on the pit entry is what cost Joker, apparently. On the corner entry, sorry, is what made him spin. But across the line for P11, Sure Moist, last on the track. But Andrew nails it in the end. P1 for Andrew, P2 for Ryan, and P3 ended up going to Bluefoot. Incredible scenes there in the Australian Grand Premio del Formula Uno of the city of Iran here in Apex Racing League. That's the name of the league. Apex Racing League. Apex Racing League. Getting wet towards the end caused the issues, but mainly in the end, the loss was the strategy. Ryan choosing not to take that intermediate tyre. Most people two-stopping. Andrew, the three-stopper, won the race, by the way. As we'll just whip out that race director in case someone forgets to grab theirs. Thank you all for coming along. The brain is not braining. So we will be back next. Well, I won't be here next week, but Fran Bernoulli should hopefully be for Brazil, where anything could happen.